Well, good evening, everyone. It's great to have you on board. We're going to be talking tonight about where the next boomtown is and when do you buy. We'll try and do it in about 30 to 40 minutes, as quick as possible, because we appreciate your time is valuable. However, we want to look at the current market update, and we also want to look at the next boomtown, which I'm sure we've got you wondering about already. And we want to look at some real next big opportunities in property. We've got some fabulous exclusive deals for you. So we're going to look at those at the end. So make sure you hang around to the end, and then we'll offer you a one-on-one appointment so that we can discuss your personal situation and match you up with the right property. But we're honoured tonight to have Kevin Young online. Hopefully you can see him there in the top of your screen. We're really thrilled that he can join us from home. So good working from home these days. But welcome, Kevin. You can have a little chat and then we'll get started.
Thank you, Catherine. Isn't it great, this COVID? It's given the opportunity to not fly everywhere and live out of suitcases and walk around a 3 metre by 3 metre room, but sit down and chat in the comfort of your own home. It's great. I like it. And Catherine, I like the fact that you've joined us and you've got about 20 years experience in property. You're passionate about property. You're a financial planner. You know the whole lot of traps that people fall into just with finance, but more traps with property, as we know. So we cover both of those and we call ourselves property financial planners. That's a very important title because it means if we're a real estate agent, we can shoehorn you into anything because an agent has to do the right thing by the seller. But we don't do that. And the property market doesn't do that. He does that, put some square pegs in round holes. So what we'll do at the end of this show is we'll send you an invitation that you can work out 15 minutes of your precious time that we can sit down with you and we'll go through the traps that happen to people in property and then how your situation adjusts to that and how we can give you proper advice. And how much we charge you for this? Zip. Nothing today, nothing tomorrow, nothing forever. We've been going for 27 years and we've created more millionaires than all the others combined.
Thanks, Kev. I just thought I better check that people can hear me. I'm sure they can, but maybe we could ask somebody just to unmute themselves and say hi. I can see Jill Clifford online there. Would you like to say hi, Jill? Can you hear us?
Can. Oh, yeah, there we are. I think I was muted by you, Catherine. Yeah, coming through loud and clear. Hello, Kevin.
Oh,
hello, Catherine.
Hi, great to have you. Can you see our screens as well?
Yeah, we can see your screen. I can see your screen and we can see you both at the top of the screen as well.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, well, I just thought I better check before we bowl on any further. But yeah, thanks for coming. And Jill's a member of our Property Millionaires Club, and she's been leading that for a long time. So she's a great wealth of experience if anybody has any questions for her. Anyway, we'll keep moving so that we can stay on track. So tonight's question is, where is the next boomtown and when do I buy? First of all, I'd just like to ask you a question. So what lifestyle choices would you like to create? So nice cars, want to play golf, want to spend more time with your family, you know, like this is why we do these things, isn't it? This is why we work. But, you know, the truth is, and the answer is, most people don't really have a plan. They know what they'd like to do. They know they'd like to spend time on the beach, but they don't really have a plan to get there. So the club is great at helping people. We've helped over 5,000 Aussies become millionaires. And, you know, we're good at doing it. We can help you. We work for you and not the seller. And I'm trying not to read all my words, but this is the sort of things we talk about all the time. So, yeah, we're thrilled to help you. But how do you achieve it? So the Property Club has a system. We have a property financial planning system, and it can help you into your desired future. And Kev, do you want to talk about your wisdom? But these are your keys for success, and this is what you've been doing for a very, very long time, helping people. Hey, Kev, we can't hear you. Hang on a minute, Kev, unmute.
I'm now right. Yep.
Oh, there you are. We've got you.
Thank you. Yeah. So I've seen all the mistakes and all the successes along the way. And in the club, we work hard to see you can hurdle all those problems, like buying multiple properties. You've got to spread your investments around the country because all of the properties will move in steps in the one location, and it could have a flat period for 10 years. Well, you lost your opportunity to expand your properties or borrow money to have a lifestyle. So that's just one of the many traps that you know, probably don't know exist, but we do, and we help you. I like this is our own software program. We feed your joint incomes into it and your borrowing capacity that we can work out. And then we have to find a property that will work with this cap. So the red you can see there is all the cost of owning a property, which is the mortgage, the rates, you put a cooperative to this one, insurances, etc. And the green is the rent. Now, normally the green doesn't cover the red, you have a loss. But you'll see tonight we've got some really great bargains that make you cash flow positive. So it's just like going into a lottery, paying $20 and getting $220 back. You do it all the time. The blue one there you see is a big club secret that we have that we get you paying less tax. Sorry, you're quick too for me.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we're looking at the blue one.
Well, have you paying less tax? And you tell us how long it's going to take to grow and double. We'll work that back to weekly figures so you can put an idea where you're going to go. So you can see where that yellow one is. That's the profit you're making every week. This is a fantastic time to get in and buy property. Now, when we started the club, interest rates were around 9.75%, and they were predicted to get to 15 again. So to think that we can put you into property now for around 2% is just incredible. And the scarcity of property has caused the renters to bid up the rents. So it's a great opportunity to get in and put a good foundation under yourself. So why are you going to do that? Let's look at the next one, Catherine. So the idea with the club is that you follow a plan, and the plan is that you buy one each year, and here you see the bricks and mortar is the money you're borrowing from the bank. The last one hasn't got any profit because the manager settled on it. But now look at all the profit you've had from the other ones. So you can borrow just 10% of that wealth as a safe, easy lend, and you can spend it on lifestyle, or you can spend it on buying more properties as you wish. If you spend it on lifestyle or new properties, that money you don't pay tax on, because you don't pay tax on borrowed money. So you can have a long, wealthy retirement with this plan without paying tax. And just sit back and watch the trees grow and grow and grow and grow. This is why it's vital that you don't put all your eggs in one basket, as you'll see shortly. We'll talk about Queensland shortly. Thanks, Catherine.
Yeah, so the market has been very interesting, to say the least. I was talking to people last year, you know, with COVID, when COVID hit, and people sort of sat around and sat on their hands because they weren't sure what was going to happen, and rightly so, we weren't sure. However, we have seen just such a building boom. You know, the government kick-started it with that grant, and since then, with low interest rates and huge demand for rents and no one travelling, we have seen just a very interesting time in the property market. You'll see here with the clock, we've got all of the states pretty much on this side, which is, I've never seen a clock like this. I don't know about you, Kev, but usually you've got them dotted around here. But they're all rising at the moment. So you'll see over here, we've got, you know, Ipswich and Gold Coast and Perth and Port Hedland and Toowoomba and Sydney, Sunshine Coast. So anyway, it's a very interesting time. This is we've just received this. This is September's update, but it was the same last month. So I was surprised to see, we haven't even reached the top of the market yet. So these areas are still all very good to buy because we're in a rising market and you're going to make money on all of them. You'll see people, things like Perth was at the bottom of the market, but now it's definitely in a rising market. Same with units, Canberra sitting over here declining. However, most we're on this side as well in a rising market. So again, very interesting. Supply and demand, what causes a rising market? I just thought, it is simple. It's not rocket science. Kev tells his banana story, which I might ask him to do right now.
Well, we have the price of bananas at the moment about $2 something or other a kg. But then a cyclone comes through up north and wipes out all the bananas. And what's the price of bananas? It goes through the roof, up to $17 or $18 a kg. And that's called law of supply and demand, which sets the price of every single commodity. And that's why I love property. That's why I like diversifying property. Of course, we know to look at the fundamentals of supply and demand, but we don't have a crystal ball that can look into the future and see that the government's going to do the right thing and keep on helping build jobs and people provide renters, and jobs and people provide houses. So that provides capital growth. So that's one of the problems that happened in Queensland. We had 20 years of bad government. Sorry, 10 years of bad government. From 2000 to 2010, we had good government. Each year they set out to say they're going to increase jobs by 5%, and they did. And jobs went through the roof. People come over the border, prices went up, rents went up. In the last 10 years, they did nothing. They slowed plans 18 months ago that they had 10 years ago, and now they're starting to get into them. So how can you keep track of all that? It's impossible. And that's why we started the Property Club, because we have the ability to have all of our people getting all this information and digesting it. Yes, Catherine.
Awesome. Yeah. So short supply, bottom line, high demand and rising prices. So what's happening just quickly in Queensland here, we've had mass migration, interstate migrations, 90% above the decade. People are moving here from Sydney and Victoria every day. I spoke to a girl the other day. I'm not sure if you've heard my story. She works in the Department of Transport and she does 99% of her job is transferring licenses, driver's licenses from New South Wales and Victoria to Queensland. So you can see that's why Queensland also has boomed. We have such high migration. That's just one of the points, but you'll see there it was tipped to grow 20% and probably will. So median house price was $552 and now $665 they're predicting for June 22. But every state's got a plus there. Every state is growing. So, don't think you've missed the boat because there's still plenty of opportunity out there. So I just thought I'd touch on these, Kev. These were, I did a webinar the last 2 months and these were some of the prices that I was showing you. So Queensland, Moreton Bay Terrace, townhomes, some of you might remember we had them at $485. Well, they were all totally sold out. There's no stock. But if you were to find one, it'd be probably $100,000 more now. And the same with those others all listed there that you can probably read. Dual income properties, I was selling them for $550. Now I can't find them for $670. They're $700. Saw two come through the other day at $700. So house and land, it's not completely bleak. We can still find properties for you. In fact, sold a great house and land today in Logan around the 535 mark. So there's still good opportunities, but you'll need to contact us because the boom is happening here and it's hard to find the stock and then it's hard to secure it. So, but yeah, you haven't missed the boat with Queensland if that's still where you would like to invest. The Southeast Queensland market is not slowing down with the announcement of the Olympics, etc. They're still predicting growth, Westpac, 20% by 2023. Do you want to comment on any of that, Kev?
Yeah, I'd say if we have anyone from Western Australia, you've got a property in Western Australia already, you've got your own home. This is a great time to diversify across the nation into Southeast Queensland. And we're the only ones that can hold your hand through the whole process and give you peace of mind we'll know who can best lease the property for you. If you have got a corporate question, we can come back and help you with that question. If you have a repair or maintenance issue, we can help you with that. And equally, we can do the hundreds of hours of research that supports you making that decision. And we put all that to you in writing. When I set the club up 27 years ago, I went to the Office of Training and I said, what's the biggest problem you have with real estate agents and marketers of property? And the officer in charge there said, they don't put anything in writing, they lie. But when we go to take them to court, it's denied. So everything should be in writing. So I said, right. So no one else does it, but we do all that in writing. And Catherine, it takes a lot of time to prepare all this and provide through. And in the hot market, we're getting people to take properties off the market, and then we go and supply all this information while you've definitely got the property secured. We don't have time now to get all the information in advance, because the time we tell you about the property, it's long sold. So that's a hot market. And that's what Perth's going to be. If you're in Perth already, you want to diversify, now's the time to diversify into southeast Queensland. And if you're in Sydney and Melbourne, you look at the prices you're getting down there, we're still only half of those prices in southeast Queensland. And that's where people are going to, that's where people want to live. And we're getting more and more jobs coming in for all the lifestyle things that are coming up in and around southeast Queensland, guarantee the jobs. So I apologise to everyone who bought in southeast Queensland from 2010, 11 through till 19, because prices didn't go up. They went sideways. They went up 1 month, they come back the next month, up 1 month, back the next. A bit like happened in Sydney from about 2003 to about 2007 or 8. And then again from 2011 to 2016. And then boom, away it went. So that happens. That's why we say diversify so you can be in market when it takes off.
Thanks, Kev. I think you've answered one of the questions that came in. So we know we have a number of questions that were asked for this webinar, and we're going to try and cover all of them. One of them was, why has Southeast Queensland properties gone backwards or sideways? And what should they expect over the next 10 years? Well, I think we can see that the growth is good, but you want to answer that, Kev? What can they expect in Southeast Queensland?
We're now getting our fundamentals right in Southeast Queensland, and we're getting into all those jobs. Excuse me, I've got hay fever tonight, so I'm just sneezing. Apologise. Everyone's now conscious that the melee of the last 10 years was lack of jobs, and the politicians know they're going to lose if they don't get more and more jobs. So we're focused on that, and we have contact with politicians, we have contact with Treasury departments, and my mighty mill has the job of pulling all these figures together for me every month, so that you think I'm doing good, but actually she's doing good. I'm just a pretty face. You got to give me.
So, should I invest in Southeast Queensland or New South Wales was one of the other questions. Well, you know what? I would say let's go to Southeast Queensland right now. You know, I'm not sure what's going to happen down in New South Wales or Victoria with the people leaving. And like I said, we're not focused on Queensland tonight, but we do have some fabulous opportunities still. And these are really at pre-boom prices still. The developer hasn't been greedy and put the prices way up. And this is a great quality building in Southport. There's still a few available left there. They're well under construction and it'll be finished by mid next year. So yeah, reach out. If it's not that, if it's a house and land, whatever it is, we'll source it for you. So just wanted to say, yeah, it's not all doom and gloom in Southeast Queensland. We have some good opportunities even in this rising market.
It's boom and boom. But the answer to the question, should in Wales or should in Brisbane, is answered by the fact that we're property financial planners, and we can't give you the answer to that like a real estate agent would or a property marketer till we sit down and see what your circumstances are now, where they're going to be, and then where you want to retire. And we work out a process to get you there. So there's no answer until we get that information from you. So after night, we'll go back to you and ask you when you have 15 minutes, we can sit down with the Zoom meeting or on the phone and get that information that we can fit into a number of computers we've got to come back and give you the full information you can look at and say, oh, that's good. Oh, that's good too. Which of the two best suit me? Oh, this one. And so you're going to be putting on a suit that's nicely cut and tailored for you, not something off the rack.
Thanks, Kev. So now we're going to look at the boomtown that we have been promoting, but we're going to look at Perth tonight. So we've got some great opportunities in Perth. I love Perth. I'm from Perth. And Kev, this was the chart that we did back in January 20, and you can see how at the bottom there, it started to turn a corner last year. And you were saying buy, you know, that's your buy signal then. Well, if you'd probably done even better if you'd bought then, but it's still not too late now. So do you want to comment on the chart, Kev?
Yeah, the vertical lines are the price movements per month, and they go up and they come down, they go up and come down. And the red line is the trend line of that. Now, what we do inside the club, when it reaches a peak and it's coming down, we put a box around it, as you can see. And when it goes down and it goes below the line and it starts to dip up, we put a circle around that. So why do we do that? Because it's a good, easy way to see that it's the time to get into the market. And with the box, you've had a good run up from the circle. Now it's time to think about, you're still going to make money because they're making money each year from there on, but is it time to look at diversifying into another state and then coming back when the market starts to move again, as it has now done the last probably 12 months. Now, I know engineer over there, excuse me.
Bless you. Oh, he's good at sneezes tonight.
I've been doing this all day. He runs an engineering place with engineers, and he subs them out around the territory. And he said, when the government flicks the switch, there's so much to be done. He said, I can employ 200 engineers. And that's a lot of things going on just in the engineering area. What about other things? So it's good times around the corner for Perth. Perth has been a great market for us. Between 1999 and 2003, we doubled our money. And then between 2003 and 2006, incredibly, we doubled it again. And then it went into a bit of a hibernation there for a while. Because you can see here, it sank down below the line there a bit, then started to go up. Nothing fantastic like the big square there. So it's now building a head of steam on lack of supply to now get some really good jumps to have a box about here, I think.
Yeah. Awesome. So Perth is our next boomtown, and they're expecting prices to rise at least 7% there. So median house price now is 505, as you can see there in the chart, and expected to go to 540. But, you know, it's affordable. It's one of the most affordable capital cities, or it is, I think, the most affordable capital city to live and to buy a house. So it is a great time to buy Perth. I've got a lot of words there, so we don't need to read them all, but the market is in recovery. There's some really good articles around. We can send you all the information. There's some great infrastructure projects that are happening over the next over the next few years. No, there's about 20 really good infrastructure projects. So we've looked into it, we've done the research, and we're really happy to be promoting Perth again. We will get over there as soon as possible. We've just been hesitant to go with all the lockdowns, etc. But we will go over and we'll meet our members and have some workshops. But this might be a good time to answer this question, Kev. How do people manage a property that is not near to them? So if they're talking about diversifying from Perth or Queensland, how do they manage a property like that?
We have, I think, probably sold 5,000 properties over in Perth in our 27 years. And so we've got the infrastructure built up of the letting agents that we know are good, letting agents that are untrustworthy or lazy. We know the tradesmen to go and service those properties. So the infrastructure's there, and we can pick up the phone and onto them straight away. And we've got that around the country because we've done the same thing in Adelaide, obviously Melbourne, Sydney, Newcastle, Gold Coast, Brisbane, Sunshine Coast, Ipswich. So we have the infrastructure there already to help you. And you haven't got to worry about chasing these people up. You just contact us, and your mentor does the work contacting these people we've got there. So it's a fabulous system we've got inside the club. And how much to be charged for it? Nothing.
Zero.
Nothing now, nothing tomorrow, nothing forever.
Some great pictures there. Just I pulled out 4 of the projects in Perth that are happening. So, you know, they're making that esplanade down the city is absolutely amazing. Elizabeth Quay, another new tower going up there. And the East Perth Power Station is going to be amazing with a lot of dining precinct, you know, restaurants and things there. So, and EC University, a city campus. So that's just 4 of the fantastic developments. Like I said, we can send you more of that information. But so when, you know, that was the second part of our question, when do we buy? So I think we've sort of answered that too. I think now is the right time if you want to catch that growth, because if they're 430 today or 450 today, how much are they going to be next year? You know, if it's anything like Queensland, I was selling, you know, Logan House and Land for 450, now it's 550. You know, they've made it clear $100,000 in a very short time. So I would be saying the same thing is going to happen in Perth. Apart from the prices being low, the cash flow is very good because the rents are high and the demand is high. The rent demand is huge in WA as well. So under 1% in these areas I've been showing you tonight.
And that's an indicator of a boom area because the tenants hate to pay rent. So now they're running back and offering to pay more rent to their leasing agents, which shows you there's a shortage of opportunities out there. And the stories are in the paper, you can hear them and see them on TV, that they're one of 15 or 20 buying to try and get into that property, and they're pushing the rents up. That's a sure sign that there's not enough supply in the marketplace, and that's going to push up prices. And old Scott Morrison had his finger on this for ages because he's caused the problem. Because he said, if you're an investor, you can't buy second-hand properties. You've got to buy new properties. So the only people buying second-hand properties now are owner-occupiers. When an owner-occupier comes in, they're going to kick the tenant out. So hundreds of thousands of these tenants have been kicked out of these properties, much for investors' properties. And that's what's caused the problem. Scott Morrison didn't know what he's doing. And neither does APRA know what they're doing. So one of these things that I can vent my spleen on APRA for half an hour as well. But we'll get there.
So quick little map, if you've never been to Perth, I used to live up here, Mindarie. Anyway, Perth is a beautiful city, and what we're looking at tonight is a property which is 20 minutes east, near the airport. It's got its own shops, etc. Really close to all the winery area, which is nice. But 20 minutes back into the city is nothing. And then up to Joondalup, this is a whole city in itself. It's close to all the northern beaches, Hillary's boat harbour, and it's 30 k's back to the city if you want to commute to work. So both really great opportunities in the city of Perth. And we've got some others coming too, which are south of Perth, close to the coast, and north a bit further than Joondalup actually. They're opening up way up here now in those coastal areas, but still very well priced. So this is one of our properties. These are completed. Now these are amazing. These are double brick, like Kev was saying. Like bricks are costing so much to lay now that you've probably made $50,000 just buying this house, because bricks are no longer $1.50 to lay. They're now $4 or $4.50 to lay. It's crazy what's happening out there right now, and the same thing is happening here. So building prices are escalating, and that's another reason why prices are escalating. So these are ready to settle. These are 4-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage, or 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-car. So beautifully finished. They're all the latest modern internals, wooden floors, etc., or wood look-alike, you know, the vinyl strips, lovely bathrooms. They have got tenants in place. Now, normally we don't sell like this, but these have got a 3-year tenant in place with a healthcare provider. That means you're going to have no vacancies, and that means that they're going to increase it by CPI each year, and then there's an option to stay on for another 3 years. But I've done the maths on these. These are very good. I think one of our mentors has already sold one of these properties to a buyer. We've only just sort of listed them. However, you know, you're going to get rent of $465 on a 3-bed and $495 on a 4-bed, but they're fantastic because you can see the cash flow there, about $140 per week. Now that was on, I think, an $80,000 income or standard income. So, and borrowing 100%, 5.7% return. So yeah, be quick to secure because these are exclusive to the club, but now we've started to promote them. And because you can't buy anything here for 450,000, these are going to go like hotcakes, I am sure. Kev's known the seller for a long time, so Kev, you might want to comment.
Yeah, very good builder, and he's got a good financial basis for him too, so he's going to be there a long time. Can I say, once we were to said to you, we'll organise to fly you over and you can walk through these houses no matter where they are around Australia. And we get the builder to pay for that flight. But now we can Zoom it, so we can get the builder to talk to you, just like we're doing now, and then show you the area and then walk through the property, so you're looking at it at the same time. And this is unique to us, but 12 months ago, the buyer was in New York and he bought a sub-penthouse on the Tweed, and I hadn't done this before. I didn't know how to go about doing it. Catherine held my hand, of course, got me over the board and got me into the building, hooked me up. And it was just great because the guy was walking with me with his wife. I was opening cupboards. She asked me to open cupboards, look at the view. When she went over to look at the view, look at the layout of the rooms, the size of the rooms, and what was in the area. And after about 25 minutes, he said, "That's great. We'll take it. We know all about it." So that's how easy it is. So that's what we can do for you anywhere around Australia. Whatever you want to do, we'll get the builder, one of our people over there, to walk you through the building. It's great.
It's so easy
And
now. It's a great way.
make money. 2 years ago, I was saying to people, buy, it's going to go up to 20%. And they didn't buy. And 12 months ago, I said, go up, it's going to go another 20%, and has gone up and still going to go. And these buys are going to look like crazy in 6 months. So people are going to say, what, you could have bought a 4-bedroom house for 450 with a tenant paying 5.7% rent, and I didn't buy it. When's the best time to buy property? Yesterday. I say it's the best time to buy property tonight.
I'm gonna answer a question here, Kev, if you don't mind. Is it prudent to buy property in an SMSF? How does the projected Southeast Queensland growth compare to Perth's boom? So I'm just going to answer the first part about buying property in a super fund. These are perfect for that because they're complete. So half the problem with us trying to find house and land for super funds is really hard because builders, they're all on 2-part contracts. So to buy for your super fund, you have to buy on 1 contract. You can't buy a 2-part contract. So house and land is very rare to find for your super fund unless you've got builders that will do it for you. And it's a fairly tricky process in that it's just different with deposits and etc. But anyway, we can do that, mind you, and there are companies that will help and charge you to do that, charge you a nice 10 grand or more. But, you know, these are perfect for super funds. So yes, it is prudent to buy in your super fund. It used to be, you know, people were cautious about it. A lot of people are doing it now, taking control of their super and taking out a deposit and leveraging that money and buying a larger asset, which is going to grow over time. So yes, it is prudent to buy in a super fund. Obviously, you've got to get financial advice. I can share my knowledge. We can help you. However, it is a specialized field, but I would say these were a fantastic product for that. So that's answering that question.
Well, we're financial planners, Catherine, and again, there's no one simple answer to that question. We have to get a lot more information from that person to see what they're really after, and will a super fund purchase satisfy what they're really after. Because if you're young, self-managed super funds good because you're going to hold and see a lot of its growth, and there's no capital gain when you sell it. The club says never to sell. When it doubles, you don't own it. So that's an advice to take on board. And the other thing is, if you're needing tax-free income and you're towards the twilight of your working years, then all systems go. It'd just be given to your heirs, but that money that's coming in is not taxable. So there's a couple of other things that will come into it, giving you the right answer, which is why we're going to suggest you need that 15-minute chat with us, not me, not Catherine, but the club, to get your affairs in order so that you're not like 90% of property investors. They'll go through life and they're retired with just 1 or 2 properties, which is just enough to give them a part pension and keep them poor. So you need us, we need you, because if you weren't around, the club wouldn't be around for 27 years. We love you.
Awesome. So yeah, just a little bit of information there about Midland. We're really confident about these properties. It's an older area, but we were surprised to see today when we're looking at demographics, it's actually got young people living there, like, you know, first timers, you know, young people between 20 and 30 was the highest demographic. So that was interesting. So yeah, the next area we're going to look at is north, and I showed you on the map where that is, and these are townhomes in Ashby. Oh, I've spelt that wrongly. Oh, sorry about that. It should be ASHBY, Ashby in Joondalup, and these are, as you can see on my screen, they're a lovely contemporary townhome and priced really well at $440. Again, rents are good. The vacancy rate is low up there and the return is great. So these are a townhome, but they're not a townhouse. So there's no body corporate. You actually own the piece of land, even though it's smaller. It is on a green title, I think, but we can explain more about that. But it's actually on its own piece of land, about 250 square meters. And then the house is 190 square meters, I think. Anyway, we can send you the floor plans. But yeah, great little property. It's on a house and land contract, but the land is registered. That's a big plus because, like I said, Queensland, there's no registered land. Or if there is, you're paying a fortune for it. But yeah, registered land, ready to build, 2-part contract. And this is in a master plan community, and it's 10 minutes to the Northern Beaches, 7 minutes to Joondalup, and 25 k's back to Perth if you want to go back there. So we're really thrilled to be presenting these. We only have a limited number, but again, they've given them to us. They know we're presenting them to the club, so be great to get into those. Joondalup's a great location, a little bit more about it there for you, close to the beautiful beaches of WA. So there's other house and land options coming. These are north and south of Perth. I just haven't got all the information yet, and we haven't, you know, put it through our vetting process or our researchers process. But we do have lots of opportunity coming for WA because we really see it's going to be good for our members to get property there and to diversify, like Kevin said. You know, these are only 444,000 and, you know, under 500,000 in great areas with a good rental yield. So we'll always be looking for, you know, good capital growth, good cash flow for you so that you can hold these properties in your portfolio and not have to sell. Hey, Kev, no selling.
Never sell.
So we have had lots of questions sent through. I think we've answered most of them. One of them, though, I saw there was, how likely will Australian cash rate turn negative? When will international students and migrants, overseas tourists be admitted back to Melbourne? Not sure about that, but do you want to comment on the cash rate turning negative?
I don't think the cash rate will turn negative. I think it will turn up because inflation is going up, and that's one of the things the RBA are looking at. And another reason it's going to go up is, as you may or may not know, if you come to our national conferences, I make 5-year and 7-year predictions. And 5 years ago, I said there's going to be a major crisis in January 2023. And that crisis is going to lead to a jump in interest rates, which always happens. And it'll be like that for about 18 months. But of course, we're prepared for it. That's going to be an opportunity to make money. If you're not prepared for it, you'll panic and you'll sell. That's something to think about. And then I think the interest rates will start coming down again after that.
And also there's
changes to APRA.
yeah, sorry, go on. Yeah, changes to APRA. I was going to say that top one.
Yeah, they don't know what they're doing. They've caused this bit of a shortage along with Scott Morrison. And now all they're doing is forcing people to buy a substandard property. They may have been able to afford it.
Oh, bless you. Oh, dear.
The sound button quick up.
Yeah, so APRA are changing some of the rules, but go on.
We might have been able to afford a 900,000 property. 900,000 properties worth 900,000. Now they're going to say, no, you can't afford that. You can only afford an $800,000 property because we're going to make out you're paying the rates 5 years from now. Crazy. So they're going to push a lot of people into less than they were after for no good reason. And simply because the Wayne Byers doesn't know economics and he doesn't know property and he's relying on a government paid wage of $664,000 a year. And no doubt he'll have a nice pension from the taxpayers.
Bless you. So then we've got thoughts on building our property portfolio through a discretionary family trust. So I know, Kev, you've said to me, buy all your properties in your own name. What do you think about that question?
In your own name, it's got a lot of advantages. In a trust, it's got a lot of advantages for accountants and solicitors. But definitely go along to it and get their comments why they think it's good for you. I've had some trusts for my profits when I was paying too much land tax, $5,000 a week land tax. I believe the politicians, when they said they're going to phase out land tax, when they got the GST in, and they're going to phase out stamp duty, the GST in, they brought it in and lied to us because we're the silent victims. We don't scream and yell. So they do that to us.
We're pretty good there, but we've just got this body corporate one. Why are body corporate fees so expensive in Queensland? Is there any oversight to ensure our funds are used effectively?
Yeah, the answer is avoid those complexes that have got a lot of the tourist mecca things that they're after, like heated pools indoors and outdoors, spas, lifts, tennis courts. All these things are very costly to run and maintain, and you're paying for it. So the smaller the complex, the less to have of these things, and the more people are going to go to the beach anyway, or down to a local pool. So definitely we zero in on these high body corporates. And we only recommend if we think tenants are going to turn around and pay an extra $100, say, for those amenities, well then that's fair enough because you're going to balance it out. So it's like one of those things I said, we've really got us to sit with you and go through the nuts and bolts of your situation so that you don't get into the wrong property, you get into the right property.
So, Kev, we've got a live question here, which is great. So thanks, Dean, for putting your question there. What is the outlook for Darwin, Kevin?
Darwin's been a great moneymaker for it. Because over the 20 years, every property around Australia has booms and busts. But Darwin never had a bust, just chonk, 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 chonk. And it was giving us the highest rent return around Australia. But then we had the two Labor governments get in and they haven't created jobs. Who was the female Prime Minister? Julie Gillard. She wiped out their fishing industry, made it all where they fished a green park. So they just sold up and went south somewhere. The cattle industry got knocked on the head when it was banned overnight going overseas. That was a wallop there. And then the next big thing that happened was the gas, there's heaps amount of gas in the ocean and on shore. They built these big trains, they call them, to cool them and condense them so they could go onto a boat and go back to Japan for energy. They're scheduled to have 4 of those train stations, but they employ a lot of people to build a lot of the apartments there. But when they finished that plant, the first one, they didn't have a need for the others for quite some time till they used up the gas in Japan. So they laid everyone off. So places that are renting for $700 or $800 a week suddenly were empty, and that caused a bit of a problem. So people panicked. They would have sold a little bit below the market each year. So they went down for about 2 years. Good news is now they've turned the corner and now renting, and rents are starting to rise. So we're getting a report on that coming through next Tuesday. So keep an eye on that.
Thanks, Kev. Look, we're getting closer to the end of our night because we said we'd try and wrap up now. But there's just one last question. When do you think Southeast Queensland property market will peak? Is it a good time to sell, or do we hold a bit longer?
Never sell. Come on. Sell's a 4-letter word. You're going to sell it. No matter how much the market, it's going to double. Might double in 7 years, might double in 10 years, might double in 20. Never happened before, by the way. But when it does double, you don't own it. So where's the sense? And you sold it, and the government said, thank you, I'll take some capital gain tax off you. So they take 1/3 of it in capital gains tax. So it will never peak out. It will always keep going because there's a shortage of land. Population is rising all the time. It's getting harder and harder to buy sites to build on. Owners want more and more money all the time, so it's a great, safe investment. Because of bananas.
So that's awesome. I'm just going to have to wrap it up here, but you know what? It's been great talking to you. And really what we want to do is we want to offer you a 15-minute chat. But I want to say too, just contact your mentor, because all of you have probably got a mentor that you know. If you don't, then you will be allocated one. But please contact us anyway, and we can help you know who your mentor is. There's some numbers on the screen there, the club number. You can email us, but I'll probably try and send out an email tomorrow, or your mentor will. They'll be in touch with you. They can answer your specific questions. They can make that one-on-one appointment time. I'm acting as a researcher tonight, but I also do mentor members, but researcher in the fact that I've been sourcing the properties in Perth for you. So there'll be, you know, everyone around the country will be interested in this, these Perth properties. I know that. So don't delay. If you're interested, please get in touch with us, and we'll be happy to look at your personal current situation and to suggest opportunities that exist for you. So it's been a real pleasure tonight. It's been so fun. Nice to have you there, Kevin, too, working with me. So thank you for your support, and we look forward to seeing everyone again. Kevin, do you want to say any final words?
Yes, I love property, and I love making millionaires. And you were looking at me, and what are you thinking? I might do it tomorrow. I might do this to you. You're going to be one of those people that are on a pension. No, you're going to be a go-go person. You're going to make a decision, and you contact us, and you ask for 15-minute discussion that costs you nothing, but trust me, it'll change your life. I'm making millionaires. You to be one.
Well done. Thank you, Kev. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Good night.
Onwards and upwards. See you next conference.